So now we are going to tackle about the recent history. Many of the speakers of Ainu lost the language with the advent of Japanese colonization. So because Japanese is being colonized by many different countries, they have adapted different cultures and customs by those countries. And by adapting, they have now lost their touch with their own culture, specifically the Ainu language. Second is, Japan was becoming more industrialized and globalization created a threat to Japanese land. And because of all those changes, Japan is losing touch with its roots, which is the native language such as the Ainu language and its people. Third is the Japanese government, in an attempt to unify their country to keep out invasions, create policy for the assimilation of the Ainu diversity, culture, and subsistence. So going back to the first two bullets, that Japanese is slowly being colonized and they are being industrialized and losing touch with their native language, which is the Ainu language. The government is attempting to unify the country by educating them about the Ainu language, its speakers, and its culture. Next is, the assimilation included exploitation of lands, commodification of culture, and placing Ainu children in schools where they only learned language. They only learned Japanese. So it is said that one of the move made by the government is placing children in schools where they only learn Japanese for them to get in touch with their language again. And because Ainu language have been decreasing in number, the Japanese government has acknowledged Ainu people as an indigenous population. And as of 1997, they were given the rights under the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People to their culture, heritage, and language. The Ainu Cultural Promotion Act in 1997 appointed the Foundation for Research and Promotion of Ainu Culture. This foundation is tasked with language education, where they promote Ainu language learning through training instructors and advanced language classes, and creation and development of language material. So it is said that the main goal of the Ainu Cultural Promotion Act in 1997 is to incorporate Ainu language and its culture in teaching the Japanese people. And creating language materials utilizing the Ainu language. Now that we have discussed the Ainu Cultural Promotion Act of 1997, let's move on to its amendments. Amendments. Article 1. Its purpose. This law aims for the promotion of Ainu culture, the spread of knowledge related to Ainu traditions, and the education of the nation, referring to the Ainu traditions and culture. So as it is said in the presentation, Article 1 is the purpose, which aims to promote its culture and educate the Japanese people about the Ainu language. Article number 2 is the Ainu culture. In this law means that the Ainu language and cultural properties such as music, dance, crafts, and other cultural properties which have been inherited by the Ainu people. So Article 2 is just stating the different customs and tradition that the Ainu people possesses. Article number 3, duties of national and local government. The national government should make efforts to promote measures for the nurture of those who will inherit Ainu culture, the fruitfulness of educational activities concerning Ainu traditions, the promotion of the monitor and study of the Ainu culture, which will contribute to its promotion, and other measures as well as providing advice and support to local governments necessary for measures to promote Ainu culture. So, Article number 3 is just stating that the government, either local or national, should make an effort to promote Ainu language and its culture. Article 4. Respect to be taken into account in the implementation of this law. The national and local governments should respect the autonomous spirit and ethics pride of the Ainu people in the implementation of the measures to promote Ainu culture. So as it is stated in the slide, that people should respect the Ainu language and its culture, and how the government would implement such actions to promote the Ainu culture. Article number 5. Fundamental Policy. The Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology are required to establish the fundamental policy for the measures to promote Ainu culture, hereafter called the Fundamental Policy. So it is said that the Minister of Land and the Minister of Education, or the higher ups should exert effort in creating fundamental policies to promote the Ainu culture for the people to abide to or to follow. Article 6. Fundamental Program. The local administrative bodies appointed by national government ordinance are recognized as responsible for the comprehensive implementation of measures to promote Ainu culture referring the local social situation. So it is said that the people appointed by the administration should be recognized, and they are responsible for the implementations that would be made to further promote and protect the Ainu culture and its language. Article 7. Appointment. The acceptance of application from corporations which had been previously established to promote Ainu culture under the Civil Law Act number 89 of 1996, Article number 34, the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology will appoint only one corporation in the country and recognize this corporation as proper to carry out fairly and surely the duties provided in the following articles. So it is said in Article 7 that to hinder confusion for the Japanese people, the government will only appoint one corporation or one person to promote the Ainu culture, to carry out the advancement of the Ainu language. Article 8. Duties. The appointed corporation is required to implement duties for the nurture of those who will inherit Ainu culture and other duties relevant to the promotion of Ainu culture. So the appointed corporation should focus on nurturing the Ainu people who will inherit the culture and publishing activities related to Ainu traditions and other campaign, research, and monitoring activities which contribute to the promotion. So, the said corporation should only focus on helping the people learn about the Ainu language and helping the people learn more about the language, especially those who will inherit the language itself. And also, they should only publish activities that will benefit the Ainu traditions and nothing more. Article 9. Implementation of Plan. The appointed corporation is required to make an implementation plan and a budget and submit them to the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology every year. According to the stat of the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education, Culture, Science, Sports and Technology, in case of amendments, the same produce should be. So, for monitoring purposes, the corporation is required to submit their plans and budgets in carrying out the plans made for Ainu language and its culture. Article 10. The Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology may require a report of the duties of the person-in-law appointed. Dispatch their officials to the office of the person-in-law appointed to inspect the conduct of the duties under the Act, notes of accounts and documents, and request persons concerned as far as necessary to implementing this law. So, in order for the government to know if the appointed corporation is doing their job, the corporation is required to report all of their duties and all of the things that they are doing for the Ainu language to know if the corporation or the people that is appointed are really doing their job in reviving the Ainu language and its culture. Article 11. The Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology may dismiss the appointment when the person-in-law appointed violates the order provided by the previous provision. So, if the corporation or the people that have been appointed by the government did not meet or did not do their job, the Minister of Land and the Minister of Education can strip them from their power or take or replace them with a new corporation of people to carry out the plans of the government for the Ainu language. And then Article 12. Dismissal of the appointed body. The Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation and the Minister of Education Culture, Sports, Science and Technology may dismiss the appointment when the person-in-law appointed violates the order provided by the previous provision. So just like Article 11, the higher-ups or the Minister of Land and the Minister of Education can replace the person they appointed or dismiss the person they appointed if they are not abiding or they are violating the orders provided by these provisions. And that is the end of recent history of Ainu language.